1 in 5 of every one of those young women who's dropped off for that first day of school, before they finish school, will be assaulted in their college years.
1 in 5. Vice President Joe Biden speaking out against sexual assaults in the nation's colleges and campuses, universities as well. It comes on the same day the White House released a report with recommendations about how colleges and universities can better address the issue. And joining us this morning, we have Courtney Underwood. She's the executive director of a group called SANE, the Sexual Assault Nurse Examiners. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Now, you are part of a local task force basically looking at the same issue, like SMU, for example, right?
Exactly. There have been colleges across the country that are trying to rewrite their policies, that are putting together task force on these issues, usually because students are complaining and there are a high level of reports or a high level of lack of reports, but then complaints that the students feel like they couldn't report. So this is a really powerful piece. It's a big first step, and it definitely doesn't encompass everything, but it's a huge first step for colleges.
The president saying no more turning a blind eye. Back in January, he basically set up a task force in hopes of coming up with some recommendations for all colleges and universities across the country. And that task force is now out with its recommendations. It basically recommends that schools identify trained confidential victim advocates. I mean, that's an important step.
In my opinion, that's huge. There's been a lot of debate after the Dear Colleague letter came out of OCR in 2011, sort of beginning to discuss this and sexual assault and Title IX and what colleges had to do. And confidentiality was a huge issue there. So on the SMU task force, we got into a lot of debate on confidentiality and who can be a confidential resource for students on college campuses. I think one of the most powerful elements of this first report is compelling colleges to have advocates on campus. So not just college counselors, not just people that are, working on staff or deans. You actually need advocates there for the sexual assault survivors who can present what we present as advocates from a separate,
just totally
non-academic,
separate, right? Okay, from the school, but still there for support as well. Another thing they say is that the schools need to be conducting surveys to really gauge how many sexual assaults are happening on campus, because a lot of times they're going unreported, or maybe the school doesn't even know it's happening.
Yeah, there's a number of different things to look at. One of the things that the report implies and really goes into a lot of expression on once you get out of the executive summary is the fact that schools that are kind of encouraging students not to report and sweeping this issue under the rug end up looking much better. And so they're trying to, right, because their numbers look good. It looks like it's not happening. So they're trying to figure out how we go in and fix that. But the climate also is huge. And so the colleges will have an opportunity to take this survey, but they're also looking at legislative options for enforcing that in 2016.
Yeah, something I thought was really interesting too is that the task force said that it's really important to engage men in discussions about sexual assaults as well. And then, I think it's a good thing probably as a parent, if you were going to be taking your kid to college, it's probably good just to show your child, hey, here's where you can go if something does happen to you, because when you've got 1 in 5, chances are pretty good that something might happen and your child might need help.
Exactly. We're seeing this. It's really, it's an issue that's so pervasive against our college leaders. And these are kids that, parents have grown, they're going into college, they have all of these aspirations, and then something that's traumatic happens without correct resources. So I encourage parents to really talk to your kids before you take them to college. And then also the colleges have to step up now and really begin to deal with this issue.
That's important. Thank you so much, Courtney. We appreciate your time.